Well, hello there, folks. It's hot, no?
Real hot.
You feeling the heat in the desert, the Mojave Desert?
We're sort of in the desert.
Yeah, people consider Bakersfield desert country.
I could see that. Well,
It's actually like a Thule swamp, but
it's only going to be 103 today.
sure.
So this isn't. I mean, people in the desert would laugh at that.
Yeah, but time travel wise, we're in the Joshua Tree National Monument Forest.
Yep.
One of them.
National Monument.
There you go. And we've been looking forward to this episode for a while.
For really just two scenes.
Yeah, and we don't want to spill the beans
No,
right off the bat.
there's only two.
Because really, this is still early days. California's Gold. We're not getting like a lot of the really strange characters so much, like on a consistent basis. Like we've had that Poison Oak King weirdo,
Yeah.
and lots of other like crazy folks. But really, this is all about Huell just kind of being in awe of a thing.
He just figured he likes Joshua trees.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a whole show on it.
Yeah, and
Which
at times it really seems like he's trying to stretch the subject matter.
Yeah.
But before we get into the meat of the episode, let's hear about the theme this week. What do you think about the theme this week?
Well, I mean, it was cool, very official sounding, and it was our first genuinely taxpayer-funded theme.
I guess you could put it that way. It was who were they? The U.S. Marine Corps Band of 29 Palms. And this is the crispest, cleanest
Yeah.
version of this like marching band style one. Because usually we've had like school bands, a Boy Scout band.
I guess, yeah, official didn't encapsulate. It was very clean, nice
Yeah.
and tight.
Very. I'm guessing they practiced a few times.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I think it's so funny that they're meant to be just like amongst the rocks, but they're just so geometrically perfectly in line with everything. But the cold open, before the theme even happened, but Huell's in all green, which is interesting.
My notes, green on green on green.
Like a soft sage green shirt, button up, sleeves rolled up. And then what would you call those? Like a
Army green?
There you go. Yeah, he looks like an army cot sheet wrapped up in pant form. And yeah, he's just in amongst the Joshua trees. And the one thing he said right off the bat, which I don't know how to even take this. Some people think Joshua trees are downright ugly. Well, why would you that's so weird to start the show. I mean, we hear later that he was not alone in that opinion.
Right. Well, was it General Fremont?
Yeah.
But, I mean, if anything, this is one thing about the show I was going to say.
Yeah.
Either you like Joshua trees or you don't. And this is going to be a show where you may decide, besides the funny parts that maybe we think are funny, it might be worth just kind of jumping through.
Yeah.
For those kind of those people.
Exactly. But Huell, I think he really does maybe have this sentiment at first, this downright ugly sentiment, but then he seems to overcome that.
Yeah. I can see that.
After his fight. His fight with the tree.
It's so good.
But I think we should just get started. Let Huell tell us where exactly he is, why he's there, all the good stuff. So Huell, hit it, please.
It's one of the most pristine and unique places in all of California. Over 500,000 acres of desert lands, located in Riverside and San Bernardino counties, about 40 miles northeast of Palm Springs. Created in 1936 to protect the area's fragile desert environment from developers and cactus poachers, It continues to be a sanctuary, and people come here from all over the world to enjoy the desert scenery, to climb on the huge rocks, and to look at the beautiful wildflowers. Now, we were there to look at trees, and we didn't have to look very hard either. They were everywhere. Their scientific name is Yucca brevifolia, but we know them as the good old Joshua trees. And since this was the Joshua Tree National Monument, this was obviously the place to get a close-up look at some dandies.
Some dandies.
Yeah.
We got to get to the dandies. That was my favorite part of the clip, for sure. But also, there was the part in there about how the park was started in 1936 to protect the Joshua trees from cactus poachers.
Yeah. I have horrible handwriting, obviously, when I'm taking notes on this, so I have cactus preachers.
Sounds like a I don't know, a 90s kind of grungy band title a little bit. Maybe someone who might have done the theme at the end of this.
Oh,
week,
dude, yeah. Yeah, I've never heard that phrase.
But you were telling me something about the...
Well, I wouldn't know. I mean, this is one of these, who owns the land kind of things. We'll just chop it down. It's kind of the ambiguous ownership. But there's the Antelope Valley Indian Museum, where
Which
the guy
is in some episode, right?
Yeah, it's in a visiting. Maybe it's road trip. Yeah, it's road trip. That's
Okay.
right. That's right. It's an hour-long deal.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to Tehachapi, spends little time in Tehachapi, most of the time in Antelope Valley, and it is an Indian museum 15 miles east
Okay.
of Antelope Valley. And the guy was homesteaded in the 30s, and the guy really enjoyed the coastal Indians, so he collected things and put them in this Indian museum.
Far from the coast.
Yeah, far from the coast, which still anthropologists go to this museum to study coastal
Oh, yeah.
Indians. So a lot of the benches in that museum are Joshua tree.
Okay.
And he would even what do you call those? The beams.
Beams, yeah.
Inside of it, he would face them with Joshua tree bark.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you're conjecturizing that he was one of these poachers.
He kind of asks that question. He says, "Wow, where do you get the wood for this?" It's like, well, there were less regulations back then.
Okay,
And
there it is.
I don't know if he was maybe not a poacher, but he definitely just
Yeah.
hacked them, made some furniture out of it.
So, right off the bat, we got Ranger Bob Moon.
Which, as far as I'm concerned, this turns into the Bob Moon show.
Oh, yeah. Because Huel really seems very hands-off
Yeah.
in this episode. He kind of just...
Well, he gets handsy once, but we'll get to that.
But Bob is... there seems to be like two types of rangers that I've encountered in these parks. There seems to be the type that are almost reading from a script. They're just going through the motions, like the trips that we're just back from. One of the places I went to was Mono Lake, and there was a state park ranger there. Nice guy. I think he sounded like he had like an Australian accent or something, so it made it kind of, fun.
Yeah.
Little twist to the narrative there. But at times it seemed like he was just reciting a script.
So what you're saying, there's two kinds of rangers. Ones that memorize the script, and ones that write their own script.
Yeah, every time.
Every time.
And Bob seems that type. Maybe it's that moon blood, because...
Well, Daphne Moon is his sister, yeah.
I wish. Imagine.
Could you imagine Gretchen? Or Gertrude, sorry.
Yeah.
Dang, wow. That was a faux pas. If Gertrude Moon was his mom. Maybe an aunt.
Yeah, but Bob Moon doesn't have the accent, so he must have been maybe stolen from hospital. I don't know. Doesn't seem like they were giving any of those kids up for adoption on Frasier. Anyway, huge sidetrack.
Sorry about that.
Go listen to our Frasier podcast someday if we ever get around to it. Anyway, Bob first takes Huel to what he considers to be the tallest tree in Joshua Tree National or State Park. I got to figure out what this is. Hold on. We got to look this up. I don't want to sound stupid anymore. Hold on.
This is amazing.
So it's a national park, the highest form of parkdom in our nation.
Yeah.
We were given it a short shrift.
We were calling it a monument.
I know. Anyway, tallest Joshua tree in the whole park.
But did you notice what Ranger Moon said?
I noticed a lot of things he said.
Okay, well, in this particular part,
Okay.
he says, well, you know what? They measured it last year, but we haven't got the results yet.
What does that mean?
So what?
So they don't know exactly how high it is, and they don't know how old it is either. Well, we'll get to the age in a second, because I looked up what the current tallest tree is, if it's still this one.
Okay.
And according to my little bit of Googling, I don't think it is, because the one that they're considering the tallest is nothing like this one. It doesn't look anything like it. And he's just figuring that this one is probably 32 feet tall.
The previous record was 32, and he thinks it's 2 feet taller. So I think it's 34.
Well, now the tallest one that they know of is 40 feet.
Oh, well.
So way off.
It took a few hundred years to get to 34, or a few thousand years, to get to 34. Probably not.
As far as the age, he's talking about how because they don't have growth rings like regular trees do.
And they don't know the rainfall, which is huge.
So because these trees grow, it's like a sliding scale of growth rate. It could be next to nothing, 2 to 4 inches, depending on the rainfall. So the tree could be anywhere from 700 to 900 or 300. So really, it gets to the point where you have rainfall records, and then it could be anything beyond that.
Yeah, no, it's just conjecture then.
Yeah. And this is the point where I almost said Bob Mould. Bob Moon talks about the quote from old Fremont, which I'm assuming General Fremont.
Yeah.
Did you look it up?
The quote itself?
Yeah.
No.
Hold on. Let's back check him. 1 second.
This is amazing.
Okay, so yeah, John C. Fremont.
That's old lieutenant, right?
Yeah. And he's quoted by Moon as saying that they are one of the most grotesque members of the vegetable family. Vegetable family.
Yeah.
I'm sure he just means plants, but it's funny that he said it that way. And this is the point where Huell kind of breaks down what he knows about the Joshua trees. It seems the only thing he knows, other than that he thinks they're ugly. Prior, I think he's already starting to gain his opinion, or gain his positive outlook. That something about the Mormons and Joshua holding his arms out. Now, okay, like a lot of things get these like just named stories of names just kind of come from legend. Do you buy this one?
I have this vague memory of someone telling me that yes. So basically I do, because it's a vague memory that I have. I don't think it's made up on the spot.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's not like an outlandish claim.
No, it seems plausible, at least.
I mean, the likelihood of... Because Bob and Huell are kind of discussing how that could be, and I forget which one of them argues that, well, yeah, when the sun is going down and it's the silhouette, it kind of has that. You might mistake it for a human figure. Now, that's where maybe I got a little twisted, because I don't think anyone was actually mistaking this for a human.
Maybe there's some sort of like...
not to offend, but the Mormons did see Jesus in the United States too, so...
Right.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe it was a desert...
apparition?
Apparition, I don't know.
Okay.
Who knows?
It's a fun story, and it gave these trees a very interesting name, because...
It's much easier to say.
Yeah.
Than their official name.
Yeah, which is odd that Huell threw out that Latin name at the beginning.
Yeah.
But thankfully he told us it's Joshua trees. Thanks, Huell. Anyway. So that's the first tree that we saw, the tallest, and now we go to what? The most photogenic?
Yeah, that's good.
I would say that, I actually like, because there's Joshua Trees near us, right?
Yeah, we did our engagement shoot amongst
That's right.
Joshua Trees.
Forgot about that.
And we also have them in Onyx as you're going to the 395, on the 178.
Exactly. And on the 58, too. So we just went through there on our way to 395. And I kind of like the wonky ones.
Yeah.
Like, there's enough symmetrical trees in the world. Like, I like that these ones are real weird looking.
Well, this is why we like the oak trees, right? The ones that are not constrained, but I think Huel uses it in a different episode. He calls it the architecture of the tree.
Yeah.
They just look wild.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. The wonky ones are the most interesting.
Which there's going to be a lady a little later that her and her boyfriend, I'm assuming, keep comparing them to oaks, which I didn't really get, but now that you say that, I get
but not all. Yeah, it would have to be
just
the singular ones.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, we're next to this most photogenic of Joshua Trees, according to Bob Moon, and it's called Elmer's Tree, which he said is named after an old employee named Elmer.
Fudd?
Yeah. What other Elmer could there have ever been?
I don't know.
I mean, obviously this guy was probably born after Looney Tunes. I don't know. He's passed since then in '93, so who knows?
Maybe the character was named on Looney Tunes after.
Dude, it's getting too deep.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, Bob talks about how there's busloads of people and photos and photo albums all over the world.
Which all we got here is the Ford Explorer. Not quite a bus.
Yeah, it's not even like we see a picture of Huel and Bob in front of it. Like, they are in front of it, but they're just facing it. Backs to us.
Yeah, and did you notice what Huel said about the tree? He said, I don't know if I would have stopped for this.
Yeah.
Which, he has stopped for some very obscure things. And
even some lackluster things.
Lackluster things, yes. So that was an interesting comment. That lends more towards, maybe he's not a believer in the Joshua Tree or being interested.
Okay, so the other thing I'm thinking about this is that, because, obviously we're not going to go into too much detail about our vacations, but I went on to 20 different California's Gold locations on my California road trip, and I've been posting pictures on Instagram, and I wanted to have the juxtaposition picture of Huel in the place, me and Aaron in the place, and I've noticed that a good chunk, once you really kind of break it down, a good chunk of California's Gold is Huel's back. Because usually the shots are the thing, whatever the subject is, Huel talking to a person about the thing, and them looking at the thing.
Yeah, I can see that now. 'Cause in my mind, when I first think of him being in these places, he's doing an intro or an outro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
But the meat of the show, right in the middle, like what we're seeing now with Elmer's, like if I'm trying to get a screenshot of Huel looking and smiling at the camera, it's not going to happen. Mm-mm. You just get the back of his head and the side of his sunglasses.
Yeah.
So, I know that he didn't want to be the subject of the show, but it is odd. But Louis said something in his book that we've talked about before, that Huel would kind of start to guide people around. And if you get later in the show, especially visiting episodes where he's just doing more one-on-one talking, you can see him kind of get the back, turn someone facing them to the camera, Louis or Cameron or whoever is doing it, kind of goes to the swivels themselves.
Yeah, because the first bit, he almost grabs the back of the arm.
Yeah.
It turns him around, not forcefully, obviously, but it's it definitely gets smoother later.
Yeah. So back to the trees.
This pencil tree, what is this?
Well, according to Bob, it's a biological curiosity.
Do you want my opinion?
Always.
This is a cell phone tower.
Oh man, we saw one of those fake tree cell towers on the Tioga Pass going into Yosemite because we were caught in some traffic, and
It fit right in.
dude, I nudge Aaron. I'm like, hey, can you tell which one's the cell tower? It's like such a sore thumb sticking out, but she's like, hey, at least they're trying. Like,
That's true. It's true.
And I'm glad there is cell service in these kind of rare rural areas now because I saw some fools with some flat tires. I was just
That are real happy they could call AAA.
couldn't even imagine. That's the luxury of traveling now. Which, man, I wish that we could get some Louis stories on like some traveling mishaps.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't really talk about it in the book. Like just in like the Moscow trip, how they had to like
That was crazy.
that'll be a tale for another day because we should do that show as like a mid-season bumper because it's so weird.
Yeah. It just jumps. The book, I was super surprised to read.
Yeah, I had never known about this.
I didn't, and I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
No,
so
we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But either way, this tree, the reason Alan says is a cell tower is because it's just straight up. Just like Huell said, straight up.
It's that's right. He did say it. Well, Ranger Moon, when Huell says, "Man, what's wrong with this thing?"
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, what's right with it?"
It's such a sciencey thing to say.
It is, yeah. This sticks out.
Totally.
It's a weird tree.
And just based on the timeline that he kind of throws out there as to how long these trees could be living, it has been going hundreds of years, supposedly, without branching or blossoming. Because we kind of skipped over this before, but the whole branching sequence is because the branch grows up, flowers, and then 2 to 3 opposing branches split from there. And that's why it gets these wild shapes. This one's just bucking the system. What do you call it? Oh, the barber pole.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Barber pole.
Yeah. I'll go with cell tower instead. But it seems like Bob's having to take Huell to all of the anomalies of the forest.
Yeah.
Because the trees themselves, it's not a science show, so we're not really getting into like the hardcore biology of these things. Bob tries to, because the next tree after this one is just a fallen down tree. And Huell... Okay. This is where it's getting real Huell-y.
Yes.
So, there's a tree that's fallen down. Who knows how long it's been down. Super dead.
Super dead.
Yeah. And Bob's talking about how it creates like a little microenvironment for termites, kangaroo rats. Not snakes, right? Oh, definitely snakes. And then Huell... Okay, so you went to Camp Keep like we talked about. We've talked about Camp Keep.
Yes.
You folks north of us, you would have gone to Sycon. I don't know what happens in Southern California. Did Kathleen go to anything
Not that I
like
know of,
this?
no.
Okay. Just any of these wilderness camps that you get to go to in 5th, 6th grade. You're not supposed to pick things up where there could be like snakes or spiders or anything. Or pull it towards you so you can have the thing as like a rock,
Yeah, no, it's...
Huell didn't learn this. They don't do this in Tennessee. There's no Camp Keep.
You just grab and go right there.
Yeah.
Well, he goes, okay, what happens? What happens right here?
So Huell's trying to pick up like a chunk of branch. And he cuts his finger on it. I don't know how else to put it. It's so... It seems like the kind of thing that he should have maybe started over.
Yeah.
Because it throws him off so bad.
Just keep saying, it cut me.
Yeah. Ooh. And he sucks the blood off his finger.
And Ranger Moon's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
the sharp.
But that didn't stop him.
Not at all. No.
No. He does the old boot and hand pickup.
Oh, that's the best. That's right.
Yeah.
So he still wants to pick it up.
Yeah, doesn't
so
even give a care.
He
That
takes his foot, puts it underneath, and lifts it up with his toe of his boot.
But then he finally gets it up only, and you can see this. It's so kind of childlike what he does here, because he picks it up, kind of shows it off. Oh, look at that, and just throws it, almost like I don't like this. It hurt my finger. Threw it. There's a kangaroo rat house now. What? Crazy dude.
So that's the first good part that you just have to watch.
Yeah,
Even if you don't like Joshua Trees, that's worth watching.
totally. And
We get into our first set of interviews.
yeah, there's not many. I guess they didn't run into a lot of fools. But what do you think about this grouping here?
You know, do you think it's his wife, sister?
I don't know. I'm gonna go with wife based on the dynamic.
I feel like she tells him what to do a lot.
To say the least. Yeah, because Huel goes up, and he's not choosy about who he interviews, but he's the closest one to him. So he goes to the man in the couple here first, with his like kind of grandpa hat with a mesh trucker hat up high, and he's kind of got the California's Gold interview guy uniform, but it's like fancier.
Yeah, this is like the New England
Yeah.
uniform.
So
what does he have there? He has a pen, and then he has
like little note cards, like he's
it's almost
writing
like
a speech.
checkbook.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
But his shirt, it looks like a tablecloth at a tea room.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Like a little soft blue pattern on a white shirt.
But he does have the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
He has the mesh hat, the mesh trucker hat. So I don't know.
But we barely get to hear anything from him because every time his wife interrupts. Oh, so where are you all from? And he just says, Virginia. But before he can even get it out of his mouth, oh, well, no.
We're in the
foreign services.
Yeah, foreign services. Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
So we've
but-
seen a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. And then she says, "But this is California."
This is totally California. What?
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you don't have those in Virginia? Asking the man again. Oh, no, nothing like this. Nothing. It was uncomfortable.
Luckily, it was short
Yeah.
because we get to the next interview, which is pretty basic.
Yeah.
Is there anything of note for you?
The oak tree comparison, which I didn't.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't see at all. Like I was gonna blow it all up, make fun of it, but you saying the kind of like weirdness of oak tree architecture.
Yeah, like I was thinking about the ones we see that are by Caliente area,
Yep.
just before you get up into to like more dense areas.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So these people, this kind of lends me to believe that this is a newly dating middle-aged couple.
I would agree with that.
Totally,
Well,
right?
you know what? She's totally converted me to the beauty of Joshua trees.
It seems like these maybe don't want to totally guess everyone's life based on their interviews, but it seems like maybe they were divorced semi-recently,
Okay.
and now they're like starting their lives over and going on little dates, going to Joshua Tree, because the timeline he is kind of presenting sounds like this is a new experience for him. And I would say, what do you think he is? Like 50s?
Yeah, it's probably early 50s.
Mhm.
But what do you think that she goes to for him? I have two things.
You just asking me right off the bat, based on the way he's dressed, boat stuff.
Dude, I was going to say a rowing competition.
Yeah.
Really, just that's actually the best one.
So he's totally boat.
I was going to totally just make up a dumb one. Like, oh, you like to go street racing?
Yeah, right.
I've always been into cars.
With this guy's linen shirt, he's not getting near any exhaust.
That's true. That's true. No, yeah, boats are... That's
He looks like a
perfect.
boat boy for
Nail
sure.
on the head. I think a rowing competition.
Yeah. But that's why, this is why we're having fun with just kind of the way they look, because they don't say much, and then the interviews are done.
It's just...
So that's, it's one of my favorite parts. So that there's only two.
And
Kinda
back to
whatever.
the Ranger Bob Moon show.
Yeah, But it's this is the last little bit with him for this first part, because he's just trying to he's still trying to sell Huel on it. He's like, there's not just the Joshua trees. Look at all these other bushes and all these and there's the rocks. Look, the white streak is granite, and Huel's like not even looking
Okay.
while he's trying to explain it. But then we kind of switch gears, and we're getting to see some of the human aspects of the desert. Let's hear where we're going.
Well, the road was dusty and bumpy, and I wasn't sure exactly where we were going. But Ranger Moon had asked us to follow his truck as he took us next to a very special place inside Joshua Tree National Monument. It seems that back in 1909, Bill and Frances Keyes homesteaded in this isolated area, raised a family, and operated a successful ranch here. In 1969, after Mr. Keyes' death, the land and the ranch were acquired by the National Park Service and preserved as an example of what an early desert ranch was like. These days, you can visit the old ranch on scheduled tours conducted by the rangers. On this particular day, our entourage arrived at the ranch accompanied by Willis Keyes, one of the Keyes children, who spent the first 15 years of his life growing up on this ranch. And he had lots of wonderful memories to share.
Thanks for that, Huel.
Yeah.
So we are at Bill and Francis's Keyes Ranch.
Yeah.
We're going on a little tour, right?
Yeah. This is the kind of thing I would want to do here. If I would like, a place like Joshua Tree, if you're not like just really into the biology, or one of these like, there's got to be dirt bike trails out here too, right? Like that kind of stuff. Like this is what I would want to see. Like,
Yeah.
what were the humans doing out here? How did they survive?
That's cool, but I would also, it's a national park now,
Mm-hmm.
but I would like to see how humans homesteaded these days. Outdoor showers, what do you think?
You mean like,
Like
some
solar like
some
Cody-
real desert freaks?
Like Cody Lundin,
Yeah.
dual survival,
Yeah. Just with no shoes on ever?
solar lights,
Mhm.
yeah.
That seems like a TLC reality show that could be on, but
Maybe they can reunite Dave and Cody.
maybe you
They,
should.
they were ripped apart
Yeah, I know.
by that drama.
I actually caught a little tidbit of that in one of the hotels we were staying at on the trip, and like as soon as I turn it on, Cody is not soldering. What is it? Cauterizing a cut on Dave's arm with gunpowder. And it's so like kind of violent looking. Like he's obviously helping him, but he's just shaking with pain.
The first two seasons are so good.
Yeah,
So good.
because their dynamic is so weirdly different.
Yeah.
But you can tell like they're always like, all right, gaining respect for you. Go watch this show. It's a good show.
Well, we get our own version of this with Willis Keyes
Yeah.
explaining how he grew up.
Yep. Son of the owners, grew up there from what, ages 1 to 15.
Yeah.
And,
Which,
we like to do this when people from out of town come. We kind of give them our childhood in Bakersfield tour. Like, ours is just the city and whatever, but, like, this is cool.
well, to me, I was thinking that old nickname would be Willis Silverteeth Keyes.
Dude, he's had some work done.
He has some work done, yes.
And he smiles a lot, too, so you see.
Yeah. It's cool. He seems like a very nice guy. And with Huel and him together, Willis
Yeah.
and Huel, they are one colorful duo.
Yeah. Because first off, they start off at the old well, and Willis just indulges Huel at every turn. He's just like, "Oh, let's open it up. Let's see if there's water in there." And he's like, okay. They open up this old, like, 100-year-old well.
That's
Of
waiting
course
for
it's-
bats to fly out.
Yeah,
or
of course it's
something.
empty. And Willis had talked about how one of his chores was to keep the water bucket full on the counter. Huel instantly, "Where's the bucket?" And, that would seem silly, but you go in the old ranch house, and it's totally, like, ghost towned up, where, like,
Yeah.
the table is set. Do you think they really left the table set when they moved?
You know what? It was such a different world back there. Back then, I should say. I don't...
To be fair, I did just go to Bodie, the ghost town, and I don't know how much they dress it up. But the old schoolhouse, you look in there, and there's like math problems on the chalkboard. And...
What kind of math?
Just basic arithmetic.
Oh, okay.
Just adding. But there was also like a chore list and like a discipline thing, like a discipline chart.
Like how to discipline?
No. Like, pull your card, Billy. You talked back. Now you're a red card, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like second grade does. I don't know. That seemed a bit far-fetched to me. That kind of pulled Erin right out of it.
Yeah,
that
did it?
Because she's like, is it all authentic? And I was like, I think so. Like, that's the way they approach it. But, like, the chalk just looked too perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I can see that. That would be disappointing if you were expecting.
But it really seems like a good chunk of the Keys Ranch was really just, like, left. Like, maybe the kids have moved out. What's his dad's name?
That is Bill.
Bill. Maybe he lost it in a game of poker and had to leave town.
Which there are a bunch of ranchers these days that have old Pontiacs on them.
Yeah. And
So I
imagine
can see
if you just like got evicted or something, like, and then it got turned over to the state.
When I was thinking, like an 87 Pontiac. Just So,
but as they're going along, Willis is kind of showing off his dad's hoard, because it seems like he could have been on Hoarders a little bit.
oh yeah.
Because he would just grab stuff from all over the canyon. He would gain ownership first. He wasn't a thief. Willis made sure to say that. But there's a lot of junk out there.
Yeah, there is. What I thought was interesting is this old private schoolhouse.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Because totally private, not in like it's a private school like you'd think today, but it's like private because that's all they had.
Yeah, just like homesteaders.
Yeah, like the dad hired a teacher from where, I don't know, and like, hey, teach my kids. And then finally the county got involved and was like, oh, okay, we'll give you some books at least, and some paper. But Huel goes in and he's a little toasty. Did you catch that?
I did. And don't we find out later that this is actually the springtime?
Yeah.
Woo. It's already getting a little hot in here.
Because Willis is like, well, imagine it in the summer. No air conditioning, no fans.
If it got real bad, sometimes they would send us home.
Yeah. Which, it happens these days.
Yep.
Bakersfield, it gets hot, air conditioning goes out. Go home, kids. So,
And if it snows, you get like 3 weeks off of school. They don't know what to do.
the one time it snowed here in 50 years.
Yeah, we got like a week off, and it was only 2 inches of snow.
Yeah. But the weirdest exchange to me was outside the schoolhouse. Willis is kind of like talking like, yeah, it's kind of like a humble beginnings and everything. And Huel says, well, you're an educated, literate man. And did you see Willis? He kind of gave this like, sure kind of look. And I don't want to say Willis.
You think he can't read?
I don't know. I'm going to say he could at one point.
Just never saw the need to
Yeah, he forgot.
maintain.
It's like riding a bike. I've seen people forget to ride bikes. I'm sure you could forget to read
Yeah.
beyond just like head injuries.
That's an interesting. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm sure you could get. Well, I don't know. We
This-
won't go on a tangent on this.
Exactly. Because we got enough of a tangent going on with this this dam.
Especially with this filter they're using on the.
Yeah, what happened here?
I don't know. It looks like an orangish filter.
It's like they a piece of Huel's salmon color shirt got draped over the lens.
So you get flaked off.
Yeah. It must be some sort of like a solar glare thing because it's so sunny out there that Louis had to put a filter on the camera. But either way,
we get to see the dam, which
damn, it's a good dam.
It's a good dam. They use this water to wash dishes, sort of like a gray water system.
Yeah,
and then they would go swimming in it,
and go fishing too. But it's amazing. Like you see this dam, and it's actually like well engineered. Like with the way that it's, the way that the curvature of it is, and everything. Like his dad obviously either had help, really knew what he was doing, or the teacher that he hired helped him. I don't know. Who knows? But it was an impressive dam. Good dam.
After the ranch, we get a back-to-back sequence of things. Right? Huel gets to hold a lizard. He shows us...
Well, let's just let him tell that part.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here it is.
Let's do it.
Well, after we left Keys Ranch, we still had a lot to see. First off, Ranger Moon took us up to Keys View, where we had a breathtaking panorama into the Coachella Valley and Mount San Jacinto. Then, while we were walking through another part of the desert, we ran across a side-blotch lizard, and he let me put it on my finger. And then we saw a magnificent turkey vulture in flight. Of course, there were lots more huge rocks to see and Joshua trees to look at. But we ended our visit to Joshua Tree National Monument on a carpet of color.
Okay, there it is. Huel laid it out.
Really, Keys View is I think it's the coolest part of it.
Yeah. I would equate it to Glacier Point in Yosemite, where Yosemite, you're down in the valley, but you kind of can't get a good gauge on the size of everything because it's just all around you. So you go up to Glacier Point, and then you can look down into the valley, really see it. Same with Joshua Tree and Keys Point. Is that what it was called?
Keys View.
Keys View. Yeah, because you're like up on a precipice, the nice vista, looking out on the trees.
Yeah, it's not too fuzzy out there, so
Nah.
you can see everything.
So, yeah, Huel got a lizard on his finger, which Bob pets. And then the turkey vulture, there's like 5 million of those around here, which maybe they were...
We got condors, so...
Yeah.
These...
It's fine. But then this carpet of color, I love that term.
Okay. He obviously does too, because I can tell it happens organically.
Yeah.
And then he grafts that into...
Is this clip that you just heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's just out there just being amazed at the flowers, and as he's walking, he's just kind of like picking one, like, not picking it, but like picking one to look at and pointing, and Bob will tell him what it is, and he just goes down the line of each flower. And if you look at Huel, he's always looking forward at where he's going, not at where he's stepping, and just trampling everything.
Oh, man.
And Bob even says, like, oh, you got some desert dandelion down there by your feet. Huel never stops.
Just schlamy and all
That's
of
why he's just like, oh, it's like a carpet of color. It's beautiful, which it is. It's pretty cool. Like, the desert gets real wild with the wildflowers out there.
Right.
And, I mean, that's kind of it, right? Like, it's just a little wildflower bit.
Yep.
And then we're at the wrap-up.
This is a really quick wrap-up, too.
Yeah. Well, because if you notice, Huel's got to make room for this long outro.
It's so
song.
worth it.
Totally.
Dude.
So, okay. The beginning of this thing, it starts off as I would expect some sort of kind of like desert episode to end, with the musicians from the high desert and the Coachella Valley. So it's not like a band or anything.
It's a super group.
It is, huh?
Yeah.
Like from all over the region. Because, okay, let's break it down. We got one guy on mandolin. Next to him, just a snare drum. The upright bass next to that. In the back, waiting for his cue. Doesn't come in till the end. We got a little boy with the train whistle.
Mm-hmm.
We got the fiddler, the guitar player and the steel guitar player, which is cool because he's playing it acoustic style, meaning flat against his belt line, playing the steel that way. So that's what we got to start.
Oh, dude. Okay, so for everyone who are not interested in Joshua Trees, this is the second part
Yeah,
that you're going to want to watch
totally.
because
You're going to hear it in a second.
Oh,
but
you will, but it assaults your senses.
That's the perfect way to put it. Because you're going to hear this theme. It's going to start just wand it a little, wand it a little. Thunder. And then
A saxophone.
like this psychedelic desert trip out, screaming sax, Lisa Simpson style freak out.
Which you said you couldn't find. You were trying to Shazam the song. To see
Yeah.
if you could find it. And you couldn't. You tried it 5 times, couldn't find it.
No.
And so I was hoping that what if they,
Like this is actually them playing.
like that train whistle actually had a sax hanging on his
Attached.
back. He just throws it out.
And the steel, he just turns the volume up and just hits the solo. Because you're going to hear it, it gets wild, but the assault truly is visual
Yes.
in that as the thunder claps, they hit the negative effect button, just pa pa pa, and they leave it on, and it's nothing but Joshua Tree slow-mo shots,
And there's one driving shot.
but it's all negative.
It's all in the, yes, you're right.
So I equated it to the. Did you ever see Beavis and Butthead Do America?
Yeah.
Remember when they eat the cactus and the? Yeah. It gives me that kind of a vibe to it.
Oh man.
And
then
but instead of Rob Zombie, it's this.
instead of the clap back,
Uh
to use a popular phrase,
huh. Yeah.
thunderclap back, we just come right back into reality.
It just fade. It's like a perfect fade in,
Yeah.
just in time for the whoo whoo. And then you hear Huel at the end. You're going to hear it. I'm going to play this whole dang thing. He says, "Very good," and it sounds sincere. So he obviously liked this version that we never hear.
Yeah.
Because the whole intro of it is just the wand in a little, and then the end is just the train. So where I want to go to Chapman, go to the vault, the video vault, and find that bit. I want to hear the original song, uncut without the psych freak out, and then play it like it
Do you
deserves it.
think there was a mess up or
Maybe, but doesn't it seem like a lot of work
yeah.
to fix that?
Yeah.
It's
To just cut out 75% of what they're playing?
and do all these effects and get some other band's song. Like, who knows? And they don't seem to need to have rights for anything because, God, what was I watching the other day? I was watching one of these episodes, and I think they played like a Beatles song.
Yeah. There's something with Star Wars that you've seen too.
Yes, they play part of the Star Wars like soundtrack, not one of the main titles, but kind of like an in-betweener Star Wars bit. Like, how do they get away with this stuff?
I know.
Because we can't play it now. We can't get away with it. We're not Huel. We're not as charismatic as him. We'll get cease and desist real hard.
Man, well that's Joshua Tree.
That is. We've been looking forward to this one for a while, and
The cut finger and psychedelic weirdo.
it could have just been that. Like,
Yeah.
Everything else you heard, it's like fun, but not like the most compelling. But those two put it over the top. But either way, where are we going next week?
We are heading to our so-called state capital.
As long as the state is still a state, it's the capital.
We're going to Sacramento.
And we're going to our state's front yard.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a really weird conceptual one because, well, you'll hear it next week, but Huel really kind of takes into this like public ownership of this place, which Like what was the islands,
Yeah.
the San Nicolas Island that we own that we're not allowed on.
Right.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll dive into that kind of concept because if he's going to get conceptual, we will too. But it's a fun one. There's a long interview with a very interesting lady, so look forward to that one.
It'll be good.
But until then, we hope you come along with us this week, next week, and every week as we continue our search for Hugh's Gold.
Very good.